First, giving honor to Yahweh, to His Son, Yahweh Shai, to the prophets and elders pushing forth this truth, this gospel, to the four corners of the earth, to all of Israel, the hopeful elect, those mixed in with the other nations, look like the other nations, even speak the other nations' tongues, but are of Israel according to the seed of their forefathers. To everybody say shalom, peace and greetings. Also want to give a double honor to the prophets, a great millstone, because it's through them that I heard this truth. And he that have an ear, let them hear what thus saith the Almighty. Not house. We're entering into trying times. Jacob's trouble is soon approaching. And it's going to be that time where you're going to have to decide, hey, continue on to be system, follow the Almighty Yahweh, be ye hot or cold. And I brought up a lesson. I've been on Facebook. I've done live lessons on Facebook, and I haven't necessarily been putting out videos, daily, because I've been posting on Facebook, going live there. But this similitude, if you will, was on my mind to bring up. I had referenced it in my lesson the other day, live lesson I did. Anyway, I'm in Daniel chapter 3. Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold whose height was 60 cubits, and the breadth there. Nebuchadnezzar the king of Babylon. Okay. The king made an image of gold whose height was 60 cubits, and the breadth thereof 6 cubits. He set it up in the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king sent to gather together the princes, the governors, and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces, to come to the dedication of the image, which Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. 3. Then the princes, the governors and the captains, the judges, the treasurers, the counselors, the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the provinces were gathered together unto the dedication of the image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. And they stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar had set up. 4. Then an herald cried aloud, To you it is commanded, O people, nations, and languages, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye shall fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king hath set up. And whoso falleth not down and worship shall the same hour be cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, all the people, all nations, and the languages fell down and worshipped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. Wherefore, at that time, certain Chaldeans came near and accused the Jews. They spake and said to the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. Thou, O king, hast made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and the dulcimer, and all kinds of music, shall fall down and worship the golden image. 11. And whoso falleth not down and worshipeth, that he should be cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. There are certain Jews whom thou hast set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that... 14. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now if you be ready, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye shall fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of the burning firing furnace. And who is that God that shall deliver you out of my hands? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. 18, very important. Check this out. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Well, Nebuchadnezzar, full of fury, and the form of his visage was changed against Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Therefore he spake and commanded they should heat the furnace 7 times more than it was wont to be heated. And he commanded the most mighty men that were in the army to bind Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and to cast them into the burning fiery furnace. Then these men were bound in their coats, their hosen, and their hats, and their garments, and were cast into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceeding hot, the flame of the fire slew those men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astoned, and rose up in haste, and spake, and said unto his counselors, Did not we cast 3 men bound into the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, True, O king. He answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the 4th is like the Son of God. Then Nebuchadnezzar came near to the mouth of the burning fiery furnace, and spake and said, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High, come forth and come hither. Then Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came forth of the midst of the fire. And the princes, governors, and captains, and the king's counselors, being gathered together, saw these men, upon whose bodies the fire had no power, nor was an hair of their heads singed, neither were their coats changed, nor the smell of their fire had passed on them. Nor the smell of fire had passed on them. 28. Then Nebuchadnezzar spake and said, Blessed be the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who hath sent his angel and delivered his servant that trusted in him, and have changed the king's words, and yielded their bodies that they might not serve nor worship any god except their own. Therefore I make a decree that every people, nation, and language which speak anything amidst the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego shall be cut in pieces, and their houses shall be made dunghill, because there is no God other that can deliver after this sort. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. I always hark on the Almighty's only dealing with austere men. Choose ye this day. If I take it back to 18, like Paul says, everything written aforetime was written for our learning. So we could take this as a similitude, especially for this times that we're in. 18. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship thy golden image which thou hast set up. Okay? Similitude. Hey, I'm not the Maxine. You take that chip, that's a form of idolatry. You want to love and continue on in the beast system, this wicked system. That's going to come down regardless. Regardless how you think, feel, where your logic, where your understanding and anything. Babylon the Great, similitude. This is Babylon the Great. This place is done. Writings all on the wall. If you go, I believe it's chapter 4, talks about how there was writings, and the king needed some king of Babylon, or the Medes, I believe, Darius, needed somebody to figure it out. What it would. The writing is already on the wall. The writing, I could be wrong on that. It's all a part of studying. I'm human. Paul talks about it, cursed in his flesh. It's all, memory is one of the things that, but getting back to the austere. There's tempting times coming, and tumultuous times coming ahead. But it's this word that's going to be a light to our path. Just like Yahweh delivered Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And you best believe that angel was Yahweh Shai. When we're going to be going through similitude, we're going to be going through this hellfire of Jacob's trouble. When he, like Revelations 12:12, he's going to come down with that great wrath. This is trials and tribulations, that fire. And who's going to be able to stand and withhold the fire? It's still going to call out, no matter the situation. It's still going to call out on Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. Everything I say and do is all out of love. All glory goes to the Most High, Yahweh, and to His Son Yahweh Shai house.